Hello, this is Beth, and I wanted to honor those who served in the military and died for our country. Today is Memorial Day. So we appreciate all that people have done for us, laid down our lives so that we could have freedom here in the United States of America. And I heard today on Caleb that at 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. on Memorial Day, there is a moment of silence, a pause that we are to just thank God for their sacrifice and just remember those who have died for our nation's freedom. So when it's 3 p.m., be sure to do that. I had never heard that before. Also found a bit of trivia today on the poppy flower, which is the symbol of those who have fallen and died and served our country. And it's a symbol. And now a lot of times you'll see people wearing the red plastic poppy, buying poppies. And there was a poem written about red poppies that grew on a field called Flanders Field. So you can research that poem and about that trivia. I put a link on my personal Facebook page today, an article that described, why the red poppy. And red poppies are beautiful. Years ago, my husband Ray and I traveled to Israel, and our Jewish tour guide, Yossi, took us to a field where there was red poppies, and there's this whole crowd of people, all walks of life, bikers, Jews, Gentiles, rich people, poor people, just yeah, all kind of people, Orthodox Jews. And so Ray got this puzzled look on his face and said, "Why are we here?" Yossi was on the phone talking to someone. He was taking a break from giving us a tour, and he said, "The poppies, the poppies." And so I had to explain to Ray to admire the beauty of the poppies. That's it. That's why we were there, because people would pull over and come to this area where all these beautiful poppies were. It's actually a protected flower in Israel, and they are just gorgeous. So they are associated with Memorial Day with the military, just a way of remembering those who have served. So I wanted to encourage you today with this message. It's a sober message, but what are we willing to give up our lives for? Jesus said to take up your cross daily and come after him, follow him. So, in what ways do we need to give up our lives more for God? Not everyone is called to be a missionary and go to a foreign land and give up their houses, their family, but some people do, and God will greatly bless them. But you don't have to go across the world or to another country in order to serve Jesus and to give up your life. Giving up your life can be something as simple as, taking a coffee to a friend, maybe somebody that is lonely or alone, or bringing them flowers. I've got a couple of ladies that are older than me. They would call themselves elderly. I know they're older than me and elderly, but I don't view them as old people. I view them as, God's beautiful daughter. So occasionally I'll stop by to see them, bring them flowers or something. Um, get words of wisdom and advice, get prayer, pray for them. So you can do something like that, or you can bring a family a meal. Maybe a mom just had a baby and you cook a meal for her, do a meal train for her. Or you can visit someone that's hurting in the hospital or at home. There's any number of ways you can serve. You can serve Jesus and lay down your life. Something like even forgiveness. Forgiveness is not easy for any of us, but God said if we won't forgive others, he won't forgive us. So remember all that God has forgiven you for. And that's laying down your life. If you're staying mad and bitter, as Joyce Meyer says, you're being the prisoner. You're the one that's a prisoner, not them. They're not even thinking about it. And there you are steaming with bitterness and resentment and anger. So forgiveness is also a way of laying down your life. Now, the people on Memorial Day, the people in the military, they've done the ultimate sacrifice, which is die for our nation, being wounded and die. And we may not ever be a martyr. We may never have to lay down our life for someone else, but thank God that Jesus did that for you and me. So I want to read this verse to you today, and it comes out of Mark. Let's see. Mark 10:29-30. This is an NLT version. And Peter began to speak up like Peter always did. Peter had a mouth and said to Jesus, "We've given up everything to follow you." "Yes," Jesus replied, "and I assure you that everyone who has given up house or brothers or sisters or mother or father or children or property for my sake and for the good news will receive in return 100 times more houses, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and property, along with persecution. And in the world to come, that person will have eternal life." So anyone who has laid down their life for God, and I believe that means not only physically, but people that are just giving up, their desires, their will for God, for Jesus, to obey God, whatever he says to do, he will bless them in return. This is 100 times more. That's quite a promise. So there's a reward and a blessing in giving up our lives for others. And it's not easy and it's not fun, but God requires it of us and he will bless us for it. So thank you again to all the people who have family members who have fought for our nation's freedom and died for us in order that you and I might be free here in the United States of America. Be blessed and have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you later. This is Beth Jones at bethjones.net.